You probably think you know the blueberry. I mean, it's everywhere, right? In our muffins, our smoothies, our cereal bowls. But this little blue powerhouse has a story that's absolutely packed with science, a little bit of history, and even a few identity crises. So let's peel back the skin on this fascinating fruit.
You see them all the time. They're just a simple, common fruit. But that familiarity, well, it hides some pretty incredible secrets. What exactly is it that makes this one berry so special? And what's really hiding beneath that deep blue skin? We are about to find out.
So here's what we're going to get into. First, we'll unpack that superfood status and look at the incredible health benefits packed inside. Then, we're going to find out why this plant has such an attitude about where it grows. After that, we'll solve its long-standing identity crisis. And finally, we'll trace its amazing journey from a wild fruit in North America to a global superstar. Okay, so what's the real story behind that superfood label everyone throws around? Let's break down the nutritional powerhouse that gives the blueberry its famous reputation. Just take a look at the numbers for a single cup. You're getting over 3.5 grams of fiber, which is fantastic for digestion, by the way, plus a really solid dose of vitamin C and almost 30 micrograms of vitamin K. And yeah, there's natural sugar in there, but it all comes in this remarkably low-calorie package.
That's it, just 84 calories in a full cup. That makes it an incredibly nutrient-dense food. You are getting so much nutritional bang for your buck without a heavy calorie load, which is exactly why dietitians are always saying it's pretty much the perfect snack.
Okay, so what does all that great nutrition actually do for us? This right here is where the blueberry really truly earns that superfood title. You know, blueberries work on so many different fronts. The magic ingredient, if you want to call it that, is a group of antioxidants called anthocyanins. And get this, they're the natural compounds that actually give the berry its deep blue color. These little powerhouses help protect your heart by lowering blood pressure and that bad cholesterol. They're linked to better brain function, and because they don't spike your blood sugar, they are a fantastic choice for keeping things stable.
But let's just zoom in on that brain-boosting power for a second, because the research here is absolutely fascinating. The idea that this simple little fruit could help protect our minds as we get older, I mean, that's pretty remarkable. And this isn't just talk. For example, a 2022 study from the University of Cincinnati didn't just rely on memory tests. They had older adults eat blueberries every day and saw real, measurable improvements in cognitive performance. But what's even more compelling is that they used MRI scans to confirm these changes were reflected in actual brain activity. That's some serious proof. This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? When a registered dietitian from a place like the Cleveland Clinic calls blueberries one of the best choices for snacks, you know they've earned that healthy reputation. It's about as simple and powerful an endorsement as you can get. All right, so by now you're probably thinking, this berry is amazing. I should totally grow some. Well, you might want to pump the brakes on that thought. The blueberry plant is, let's just say it's a little particular. It's got a bit of an attitude.
So, can you? It seems like a simple enough question. But the answer is actually a lot more complicated, and it all comes down to one very specific and very important factor hiding right there in your garden soil.
And that factor is soil pH. So just a quick refresher, pH is just a scale that measures how acidic something is. Now, most of the plants in your garden, your tomatoes, your roses, your lawn, they're all perfectly happy in soil that's pretty much neutral, somewhere between 6.5 and 7.0. But the blueberry plant? Oh no, it plays by a totally different set of rules. Blueberries demand extremely acidic soil to survive. We're talking a pH between 4.0 and 5.5. To put that into perspective for you, that's as acidic as a tomato, the fruit itself, not the soil it grows in. This is just incredibly unusual in the plant world, and it is the #1 reason why home gardeners so often struggle. Bottom line, without that super acidic soil, you just are not going to get blueberries. So, on top of its picky growing habits, the blueberry also faces a little bit of an identity crisis. You've probably heard people confuse it with its wilder cousins, the huckleberry and the bilberry. They look pretty similar on the outside, but are they actually the same thing? Here's the dead giveaway. It's all about the color of the flesh on the inside. If you slice a true blueberry in half, the inside is a pale, kind of greenish-white color. But a huckleberry or a European bilberry, they're going to be reddish or purple all the way through. It's really the easiest way to solve this little berry mystery for good. So, we've got this picky, often misidentified berry. How in the world did it become a global phenomenon? Well, this last section traces the blueberry's incredible journey, from a wild North American secret to a worldwide favorite.
For centuries, blueberries were just a wild fruit harvested by people all across North America. But then, everything changed in the early 1900s, and it was all thanks to the pioneering work of Frederick Coville and Elizabeth White. They were the ones who finally cracked the code. They figured out the plant's secrets, like its absolute need for acidic soil, and they developed the first cultivated varieties. From there, its rise was meteoric. By the 1930s, this North American native had crossed the Atlantic to Europe, and today, it's a global superstar.
It's really an amazing journey when you stop and think about it. It went from a wild, foraged food to a scientifically cultivated global crop in just over a century. It's a fantastic story of nature meeting science. So the next time you pop a blueberry into your mouth, just remember, you're not just eating a fruit, you're tasting a piece of history. What do you think the next chapter will be for this ancient fruit turned modern superfood?